Sanding. I'll show you a little clip here of me scraping off the floorboards in the garage. It's a Baco 650 scraper. Last week we kept you updated with things we've been doing on Seahorse, like filling in the hole and scraping off the wood ready for varnishing. Well, this week we actually do some varnishing. Things are actually starting to look a bit better. So as you can see, that's a whole heap easier than okay, me again. Let's move away from it so you can hear what I'm saying. As you can tell, I've got the outboard out. I didn't winterise it, as I should have done, really. Not that I do that much to outboards anyway, because generally they're kept well kept, because they just live in our garage. But that said, I didn't even flush the salt water out of it, so I thought, while it's a sunny day, because as you might have noticed, it's a beautiful sunny day. In fact, I'm standing in the shade, so I'm still not getting the benefit of the light, because normally it's all gloomy in the UK this time of year, but it's not. It's a beautiful sunny day. So yeah, as soon as I'm at home, and it's a beautiful sunny day, I've got a proper camera as well, so it's actually going to look a bit better than all the recent ones where I've been on my phone in a hurry, just because I thought I ought to at least film something to show people what we've been up to. So anyway, it's Saturday morning, sun's out. I thought I'd show you what I've been up to. So the outboard's warming up, flushing out the water. Just as a point of note, you don't need a flash outboard stand. It's an old bit of chipboard and screwed together an old bit of garden timber sort of thing. It's nothing flash. It ain't going to last long, especially with all that water on it, but you know, it cost me nothing, so what do I care? And it does the job. What we have been doing though, if you come into our conservatory, find you put some the first coat of varnish on the floorboards. When you you know, watch the YouTube films and read all the books and that on how to varnish, they'll all tell you how you've got to carefully prepare the surface, and then you have to degrease it and wipe it down and then put one thin coat on or something like that and sand it back. It's all rubbish. I'm sure you get a better job doing that, and I'm not for 1 minute saying you don't need to, or you shouldn't, because clearly you get a good job like that. But you don't need to get an okay job. I've scraped these boards back, as you saw me doing in the previous film, using a scraper. I'll give them a light sand with some sort of 80 grit, because I just happen to have that. They've now had 2 coats of that stuff, which was recommended to us by someone on the Practical Boat Owner forum, because I raised the question of, yeah, what do you varnish inside your boat with, and especially the floor, and he said get that flag polyurethane floor varnish, and I clearly have no idea how it's going to wear, but just in terms of how it goes on, it's great stuff. Proper varnish, you know, it goes on really nicely. I've been rollering it on, and again, you don't need any special flash rollers. That's my tray of mixed whatever rollers I've got left over, but I use the cheap 4-inch foam rollers. An old handle I happen to have. I don't use a tray, I don't use anything clever. This is stuck to the paper now. It's just a lid off a margarine pot, and I don't pour the varnish on it. I just dunk the end of the foam roller into the tin, so it's like half submerged, only briefly. Take it out, put it on that plastic lid, smear it around, so I spread the varnish around evenly on the roller, and that's it. And then just roll it on, and then I've been tipping it off with a standard cheap, well, it's not cheap brush, but it's not a particularly good brush. Always tell the quality of a brush by looking at the end. When you fed move the bristles apart down the end, it's hollow in the middle, you can bet your life it's just a cheap rubbish brush. If it's full of fibres, it's a good one. This one's kind of halfway in between. I don't know where it came from, I've dug it out of the garage, it's been used for other stuff. But all you do, you roll the boards, make sure you spread it out evenly, and then just lightly touch the brush on it and go over it like that, just to sort of burst the bubbles and spread it out. I don't know if you can see that. That is 2 coats, no sanding in between yet. I've just put it on. As you can tell, because they always tell you how you've got to do it in a perfectly dust-free environment, and I think you've probably seen glimpses of our garage. My garage is not a dust-free environment, so I've done it in the conservatory. I swept the floor, that's as close as I got. And again, I'm sure you could get a better job if you cleaned everything up, but you know, it's a floor. It's going to get scuffs. So you don't really need to bother. One other thing I did, this, I won't push it right in, but that was the floor panel, the last floor panel that's underneath the table. It was the last panel that's underneath the table, and it's the little bit of the bilge that you can't get to, and it's that little bit that the water collects, and there's never any much water in it. Our boat, apart from the ceiling leak, which wasn't that big but spread around, doesn't leak water, it's not running down the mast or anything, but you want to get it out. So I've just, what I did, you can see where the finger grip is, I drilled a hole and then I just penciled in a line and I went round it with a jigsaw blade. What I did was I put masking tape on both sides of the bit of wood first, A, so I can obviously mark my line, and B, so that it kind of supports the wooden fibres, so that as the jigsaw blade's going up and down, it's not going to tear it. And then the other thing I did was I cut it all out from upside down, so that the blade is kind of pulling up and not trying to split out the fibres on the front face, which is what I want. And I don't know how much you can see that, but it was a perfect cut. It's a slightly wobbly line, but you know, it's a floor, you're not going to see it. And of course the good thing is it stops you putting a bit of wood in the wrong way around, because the little wobbles don't line up. Anyway, the one problem with flag varnish, let me just turn this outboard off. It's had enough running. The one problem with the flag varnish is it's a proper varnish, which is spirit based, and being in the conservatory it meant the whole house stunk of varnish last night and gave Hannah a headache. So my spray booth or paint booth Mark II, I'm just experimenting with the shed. We built this shed a couple of years ago, just a cheap one I bought off eBay, which happened to go together really nicely. It's been a good shed, and we just keep bicycles and things like that in it. And I have covered everything up. There's a bench in here anyway, which we put gardening stuff on. There's all the bicycles under there. I've just put this tarpaulin on it, not to keep the varnish or contain the varnish, because it's a shed, I don't care about that, but it's a garden shed, it's got dirt, so I figure if I put that on it, that'll at least help contain the dirt, stop it rising up off the floor. It's not doing anything for this lot, unfortunately, so the dirt off there is going to have to go, but at least I've done a bit. I've got this old radiator that was in this house when we moved in. There's no central heating when we moved in the house, it just had a whole heap of electric radiators, so I kept a couple of them and I use for odd times like this when I need to heat the garage or the shed. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. So I'm now going to rub down those bits of wood, because they had 2 coats yesterday. I think it's something like the touch dry in 2 hours, overcoat boy 4 hours, something like that. So they've had all night now to dry off. I'm going to rub them down and I'll give them another couple of coats today, another couple of coats tomorrow hopefully. That'll be sort of 6 coats. Don't know how much rubbing down I'll do in between. They say rub it down in between, but again, I think if you left it for 24 hours so it probably goes off, you probably do need to rub it down, but I left it for 4 hours. It's not going to be hard then. I'm sure the second coat's going to adhere to the first coat. Perhaps I'm wrong, perhaps someone can tell me, but and perhaps in a year's time when my varnish is flaking off, you can all tell me I told you so. But I suspect it won't be flaking off, and I suspect I'll get away with it. So, yeah, you don't have to do exactly what they tell you. Anyway, I've got the door open now, so I'm going to close the door, let the heater build up, because although it's about, I don't know, 7 or 8 degrees today, it's better than it has been. It's been like 0 all week. I need to get a little bit of heat in here for the varnish, so close the door, do some sanding, and that'll be it. Perhaps I'll show you when I put the next coat on, just so you can see. Once I've filled the roller, I'll put the lid back on the tin. Kind of gives you the benefit of decanting the varnish into something without actually decanting it, so you kind of keep it fresh. That's all there is to it. You don't have to spread it around in any particular direction, because you're now going to tip it off. All you do, lightly rest the brush on the wood and take out the bubbles. The roller's done the spreading around. All you're doing now is putting a finish on it. You'll obviously do this in line with the grain, and then it all but disappears. The other good bit about doing this is that the rollers are only like 20-30p each. You throw away, don't clean out. The brush has hardly got any varnish on it at all, so it cleans out really easily with white spirit. So the whole thing is kind of mess free. Anyway, if I'll just quickly show you that, I'm going to finish these last bits and then go in, because I think Elizabeth wants to make a film for her channel. Fun and stuff with Elizabeth. So if you haven't seen any of her films, go and check it out. In the meantime, I'm going to finish these last couple of bits, and that's it. I'm Ian, and this is Sailing with the Foxwell family. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, if you want to see last week's film, is it up there? Up there? One side. Click on it and you can see how we got to this point.